and welcome to the Daily Space Weather. We're looking at the sun here in multiple wavelengths, 171 plus 335 angstroms. It's showing some spectacular detail, as is normally the case you may have come to expect from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. That's the past 24 hours of the closest star. C-class solar flare happening right at the end of the video down here in this southwestern sunspot group. And let's take a look at what's been going on yesterday plus today in terms of sunspots. This is your SDO intensity gram. And some growth in this group up here, first of all. Likelihood of large flares going up here as these many large groups are approaching the limb here in the west. That increases the probability of large solar flares for sure. And there is a new active region rising up here in the northeast, somewhere around this area. We'll get to it later in the video. And besides that, some new sunspot groups forming in here too. So at least 2 new sunspot groups in here. We'll see the sunspot number rise once again as a result of that. Again, that's yesterday plus today. The magnetic fields should show those active regions forming as well. There you see they aren't there, and then whoops, there they are. That's the SDO colorized magnetogram. Also a new group forming up here to get a name. So really it's an increase in solar activity there. We've got a more umbre, a higher sunspot number in the offing. By the way, if you enjoy the content, please support the channel via a subscription at smashomash.com/smashteam. We created our own subscription services site because, well, Patreon just wasn't cutting it. Nothing against Patreon. I mean, it's fine, and we still are on Patreon, by the way, but we figured we would just increase our capabilities a little bit by creating our own servers and so forth at smashomash.com/smashteam. So thanks to our gold and silver Smash Team members especially. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. And let me just check something here. Okay, everything looks just fine. Smashomash.com/smashteam. The best value is the annual paid-up subscription. It includes complimentary merch. You can also find links to our Twitter on there. Twitter.com/smashomash. The utterly shadow banned account. And let us know if you decided to make a Twitter account based on our videos. Drop us a line, send us a direct message, leave a tweet, etc. Tag us on your tweets. Let us know, because social media is crucial to our business model. It's part of the reason why we only have as many subscribers as we do on YouTube, because we are shadow banned across platforms. Yes, it's called deboosting. You can also find links below the video to our Hemp Lucid shop. There's still plenty of time to pick up some gifts, save some cash by using our affiliate link, or use the promo code SMASHOMASH10 on checkout at hemplucid.com, our latest affiliate/sponsor, offering splentacular gifts for you and your gift recipients. If you haven't seen the 12 Days of Smashmas, you can find that as well on the YouTube channel. If you're viewing on BitChute, well, you should be subscribed on YouTube also. You're missing a bunch of the content, like original music, which we've been putting up. YouTube.com/smashomash/playlists. You'll find the 12 Days of Smashmas. Today's the 11th day. And it's a secret what's coming out. Yesterday's offering was Temple Strike. Go have a listen to that. We've used it in our videos in the past. Next, doing a volcano rundown. Got some volcanic updates for you here. Kadivar continues to explode. That's a 4,000-foot ash plume from Kadivar. And Mauna Loa looks like it might be simmering down here. So it looks like the lava flow in the northeast is not going to reach the Daniel K. Inouye Highway, known as Saddle Road. Possibility of Mauna Loa slowing down. Popocatépetl exploding in central Mexico, though, producing a 20,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. Fuego in Guatemala, producing a 19,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. And there's been a new series of eruptive activity there at Fuego. So Fuego has certainly produced some lava bombs and so on, ejecting incandescent material 500 meters above the vent, producing a 16,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. Also some additional lava flow. Nevado del Ruiz exploding, flight level 210. Sangay exploding, flight level 200. Revenador exploding, flight level 150. Cotopaxi, that's an uptick at Cotopaxi, I believe. That's a 24,000-foot ash plume, flight level 240. Uptick at Sabancaya to a 27,000-foot plume of volcanic ash as Sabancaya explodes in Peru. And Lascar in northern Chile, one never covered on the channel before, but now it is. Weak emissions near the volcano there at Lascar. And if you heard an echo, that was my fault. Continuing on to seismicity here. What earthquakes have happened in the past 24? Well, the largest quake was only a 5.6 at the South Sandwich Islands. We'll get to it. If we miss anything on our list, let us know. Keep in mind, any earthquake can be a foreshock. So things kind of calm here, actually. No major quakes. And not that many quakes in terms of numbers either. We did see a 5.3 in the outer Aleutian Islands there. South of Fiji, there was a 5.1. And at Japan, there was a 5.1. All three of those occurring within about 20 minutes of each other. Oh, about an hour and a half of each other. So some quakes there around the Pacific Rim. Also, Indonesia had a 5.1. The South Sandwich Islands quake happened at 6:40 this morning on December 11th. Small quake swarm there in the Caribbean, I think Puerto Rico. South of Africa, there was also a 5.1. And let's get back to space. We've got almost entirely composite images today. This is where we started the video out with our 335 plus 171 angstroms. One of the new favorites, as it provides a lot of detail for different solar features. And in the past 24 hours, we've actually seen a dip in the 10.7 centimeter radial flux. Expecting this to come up today, though, because we do have more sunspots on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. There's the one-year graph to put the radial flux in context. We should see this red line rise, as well as the black line. The red line is the sunspot number. The black line is the radial flux. And I'm about to hit my mouse with a sledgehammer. Next, moving to the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard to see no type of space weather in the forecast by NOAA for the next 3 days. We are seeing a slowly subsiding coronal hole high-speed wind stream as well. Here is the magnetohydrodynamic pressure around the planet for the past 4 hours. It's our Geospace Magnetosphere movie, which we show daily on the channel. This is depicting magnetohydrodynamic pressure. The units are nanopascals. As the Earth system attempts to reach static equilibrium. Next, ground magnetic perturbations map. It's showing you geospace delta B changes to Earth's B field, and the units here are nanotesla. And again, it is the last 4 hours as we see the subsiding of a coronal hole high-speed stream. Let's take a look at global geomagnetism, which is what the planetary K index is a measurement of. Current conditions are only 1.67, not even a KP2. It's a geomagnetically calm condition. And looking at the real-time solar wind, again, we see the solar wind high-speed coronal hole stream subsiding here. Current conditions are about 468 kilometers per second for the solar wind speed. Solar wind density just under 7 protons per cubic centimeter. And let's continue on to look at magnetic data. There are the GOES 16 and 17's magnetometer readings. We should expect to see those a little bit more smooth. And of course, if you look at these during the coronal hole high-speed stream, you see some very spiky readings there. That is typical of coronal hole high-speed wind streams. Next, taking a look at the heliospheric current sheet, which needs to be reloaded because reasons. So Earth remains in a South Pole current sheet depicted here in red. No real surprise there. And let's head to our line of sight field plot next. There is a lot of plasma suspended between the Earth and the Sun at the moment. Here's our line of sight field plot. And that brings us to our coronal holes segment. Here's our coronal hole line of sight field plot. And you can see lots of South Pole oriented coronal hole features here. Some coming into view in the southeast as we forecasted yesterday. Let's take a look at that in 2 different wavelengths from SDO. That's 211 plus 193 angstroms. And you can see that coronal hole there rotating in, getting a little more defined. That is South Pole oriented. And let's move to sunspots. So the next important feature is sunspots, and we've got some new groups. So we'll have at least 3 new sunspot groups likely named today. This will be 3164, 3165, and 3166. So that's interesting. An increase in the sunspot number and likely increase in the radio flux as well. Here you'll see some of those new groups forming. In fact, you'll see all 3 of those new groups forming. As we go from lots of sunspots to even more sunspots. For everybody hoping for some odd misanthropic reason that we're having a grand solar minimum, I would note all of those sunspots and the complete lack of 0 sunspot days. Almost complete lack of 0 sunspot days throughout solar cycle 25. This is the magnetogram plus 193 angstroms to add a little bit of character. Here's a zoom in of those series of images. And here's the intensity gram plus 193 angstroms. The SDO continuum, rather. And next we're at energetic particles. So no spikes in the proton flux there. We did recently have an impulsive C-class flare. It did not seem to produce any relativistic particles, at least not yet. Peak flux was around 11:30 this morning of that latest flare. Several C-class flares in the past day, so let's take a look at those. See if we can identify where they're coming from. Certainly this group down here has produced some. I think this group down here also. So also I would note as well that there is a new active region rising up here in the northeast. We'll zoom out here. This is another composite, by the way, 131 plus 94 angstroms from SDO. And let's take a moment to orient ourselves. As the snow falls here in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, let's take a look at what's going on above our heads. Of course, we've got overcast skies, as you typically have with snow. You've got Mercury and Venus rising behind the sun. And you've got the moon setting in the west. That's what's going on over Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at the solar system and do a forecast for that next. So that's what's going on in the solar system. Let's advance it 1 week. Here's where things will be in a week. We will have a crescent waning moon as another new moon approaches. And let me press refresh on that. The imagery from George Mason University, because next is coronagraphs. As we've got some more CMEs happening here. And will they be ending civilization? We'll let you know here in a minute. The answer is no. That was yesterday. This is today's 40 frames. And let's move forward here and show Stereo A's images plus the Soho Lasco C3. Stereo A at Lagrange 5, Soho Lasco C3 at Lagrange 1. Soho Lasco's on your right. Stereo A is on your left. We do have some interesting CMEs happening there. We just don't seem to see any that are earthly directed. So for all of you folks who want to see aurorae at mid-latitudes, sorry, we haven't got any good news for you. We don't seem to see any Earth-directed coronal mass ejections at the moment. So here is the last 24 hours in Soho Lasco C2, C3, and SDO 304 angstroms. Basically just a light show there. We don't see anything in the Earth line. Here's a full zoom out to show the full Lasco C3 in blue. And let's take a look at filaments, because there are a lot of filaments. Let me load the latest image, because this needs to be refreshed because reasons. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. So there's the hydrogen alpha imagery from Cerro Tololo's ground-based solar observatory. We've got the Brittany Griner filament. That's this one here, I think. The Elon Musk filament is now becoming a prominence down here in the southwest. The Eugene Bagashov filament is setting up here. And can anybody remember the names of these two? Somebody named these in yesterday's video. Let us know in the comments. I forget what these are called. They have received names, and I don't remember what they are. The point is, there are lots of lots of filaments suspended out there in the solar corona in between the Earth and the Sun. The likelihood of additional coronal mass ejections remains at nearly 100%. Dozens and dozens of filaments there, all with the capability of ejecting. So here's the last 24 in yet another series of composites. This is ionized helium 304 angstroms plus ionized iron in 94 angstroms. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on this northeastern active region here. And when I say ion, well, pardon the pun, here's the last about 2.5 hours from the GOES 16 SUV. Oh, what the heck? Where is the GOES 16 SUVI? It's vanished. It's vanished, folks. We've got to bring that back. Give me a minute to initialize that, as there's been a CME happening as we streamed the video. So there you go. There's that C-class flare that just recently happened here, as well as an associated coronal mass ejection. Again, that's the last about 2.5 hours. Also a likely CME happening up here in the northeast. Also looks like a little crown prominence happening down here. There's another, at least 3 CMEs being depicted right there. So that's interesting. And here come the bonus features segment. Bonus features include satellite charging hazards. And there aren't any satellite charging hazards. It's smooth sailing for satellites. The GOES electron flux still remains low here. Low levels of electron flux. We are expecting an increase in that coming soon in the next day or two. I would tend to agree with Noah on that forecast. The forecasts are the green boxes. The yellow diamonds are the observation. There's the 1-year chart of the electron flux to put it in context. In the GO 16 and GO 17, they measure the electron flux at the F layer of the ionosphere. So let's look at the vibrational frequency of that slice of the atmosphere. Located at about 300 kilometers of altitude, this is the vibrational frequency in megahertz, millions of vibrations per second. We are certainly seeing some low-frequency anomalies happening once again. Those might be a little more obvious to you on the anomalygram, so let's show that. There's the anomalygram. That is anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. You can see enduring low-frequency anomalies around South America, especially also southern Africa, the southern Atlantic Ocean. And here's the latest image. That's 14:15 Universal Time. Man, we are really late today on this Sunday edition. There's 14:15 anomalygram, 14:15 ionogram. Next, we'll show the total electron content. Here's the stationary map of the free electrons between your GPS satellite and your handset. Some anomalies happening there. And we're seeing quite a chaotic total electron content forecast here. This is we've got quite a bit of free electrons here out of place. As they are typically concentrated around the equator at noon, we see them kind of all over the place here. And yeah, you can expect some GPS errors. Major GPS errors there across North America here at the moment. And when we see the electron flux rise back up to more nominal levels, we can expect to see this get a little bit more coherent, a little bit more organized, a little bit more prone to be focused around the equator at noontime. So quite a bit of electrons there around. Again, huge GPS errors expected, perhaps at inopportune times over North America, even at nighttime in some places like the Caribbean. So next, looking at our latest intensitygram and latest colorized magnetogram. Again, 3 new named sunspot groups. This group here, and this group here will all get names today. They're all beta-gamma class sunspot groups. They're all capable of producing flares. The likelihood of large flares goes up as these groups approach the limb. So we'll be keeping an eye on that also. We may have to make another video if we see a major flare event happen today. Here's yesterday plus today in 3 species of ionized iron from SDO as we transition from space weather to Earth weather. So that was fun. We always enjoy bringing you the most detailed space weather and imagery of the closest star in the known universe. Here at the Smash News Network, Lee's Busted Name of News, we've been doing it for pushing 6 years now. So don't forget to press like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Press the share button, as we don't feel like YouTube is particularly promoting the content. Facts became very out of style in about 2020. Also check our playlists. You'll find the 12 Days of Smashmas there. You can also find playlists on product reviews, terms defined, the Diamond Anvil Too Hard to Smash, ownage, food and drink, driving, riding, and pro tips, and more, like cosmology segments, over 260 of those. And we'd like to welcome all of you to the Neo Renaissance. Once again, congratulations on realizing the channel exists. In 2019, a crack YouTube unit was sent to social media prison for a crime we didn't commit. We promptly escaped a maximum security social media stockade to the internet underground where we survive as producers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find the content, you can certainly hire the Smash Team at smashomash.com/Smash Team. Help us out with clicks by visiting the homepage and so on. Hit us up on social media. Check the Hemp Lucid shop. Check ShoreMed, etc. Thanks to everybody who has supported the channel throughout the years. Today's featured product is coming. Don't forget to enter the promo code WINTER22. Yes, WINTER22 is the promo code to save 30% on things like totes and certain home decor. We've placed the products in order of best selling for your shopping convenience. You can find links below the video as well as on the homepage of the Smash-O merch. So check it out. Today's featured product is but my galactic current sheet. So don't forget, folks, when you're bringing in the apocalypse, don't forget to curl up under one of our galactic current sheets. That way you can tell all of your bunker mates incessantly what's caused the downfall of mankind. Why did the world end? Why did the grifter cross the road? To get to his grifty's cash, of course. The galactic current sheet, a non-existent thing that a lot of people are frightened of, probably hundreds of thousands of people, because of certain nonsense on YouTube. So decorate your home with the galactic current sheet. You can hide under it, or you could hide behind it by getting a galactic current sheet shower curtain, because maybe that'll protect you. By the way, it's not a Faraday current sheet. It will not block electromagnetic radiation. But if you get a tapestry, it'll be 30% off with the promo code WINTER22. And let's get to our meteorology information here. So we've got ocean currents here and sea surface temperature anomaly. That's what we're looking at. And I always find this interesting. Sometimes I like to take a little tour of the globe. We've got this interesting series of currents here in the Central Pacific Ocean. You've got an east to west and a west to east current there, right around the equator. You've got some anomalously warm water there around Samoa and the northern Pacific. Some anomalously cold water around the equatorial Pacific. Here's what's going on in the Southern Ocean. Interestingly enough, the Drake Passage has got cold water to its west and warm water to its east. And of course, there's the Gulf Stream. Some hot and cold water being mixed together up there for sure. Some very anomalously warm water around places like Newfoundland and Cape Cod. Yeah, Cape Cod. All right, let's get to our normally scheduled meteorology segment here. These are the surface winds of the eastern world. These are the 250 hectopascal winds known as the jet stream of the east. Jet streams of the west are looking thusly. And if you had to pick only one thing to forecast the weather, use the jet stream. On a global scale, that would be the one to use. We've got this powerful low here hanging out to the northwest of the Azores. And as that moves north, that will probably weaken because there's colder water in them there oceans. There are the surface winds of the central world, and here are the jet streams. And continuing on, this is what's going on in terms of clouds and fog over the Americas. It's our 3.9 nanometer radiation satellite. Yes, you can see clouds and fog at nighttime, folks. You can see clouds and fog at nighttime by using the Interactive Weather Satellite Suite. The NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellite Suite. It's pretty sweet. And that's what's going on. Let's take a look at the weather.gov map. So as we focus on the U.S., that's what's going on. Lots of winter weather warnings there, especially west of the Mississippi. Let's scroll down and briefly show the key here. Lots of winter weather advisories indeed. Also some winter storm warnings. Much of Nevada. Huge snows coming to California as we speak. And some snow falling in Pennsylvania as we speak. Here's our total accumulated snow depth change in inches based on the GFS model for the next 72 hours. That's quite a bit of white stuff there. So we are expecting the snow to change to rain here in Pennsylvania, north of the Blue Mountain. It'll probably remain snow. But that's a 72-hour GFS forecast for accumulated snow depth change. Here is the Same model for pressure and precipitation. Some ice coming to Minnesota and Wisconsin. Also, Nebraska and South Dakota expecting some rather heavy icing, and some strong storms expected to brew up in Arkansas and Missouri as they move to the east. So that's right at the end of the forecast there. In the next 3 days, you can expect to see some strong storms in Missouri, Arkansas, and then moving into places like Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, Illinois, and Indiana. Continuing on to our pressure map. That's the current state of pressure around this part of the planet, at least. What's that? You want the whole global view? All right. There you go. Strong low near the Bering Strait. High pressure dominating the Middle East. Likely clear skies over those high pressure zones. And Eastern Europe featuring mostly low pressure. All right, let's close this mother out. This is heavy lightning here in Louisiana and Texas, especially, also some in Mississippi. And let's see if we have any terrestrial lightning strikes here at the moment with our real-time lightning map, courtesy of lightningmaps.org. And indeed, we've got some lightning there southwest of Houston. Also in the Gulf, some lightning strikes. Anyway, there's your full map. Next time you hear thunder, perhaps check out lightningmaps.org. I've used it. I like it. If you don't like it, well, too bad. Next, we should be moving to the U.S. Doppler radar map. Oh, there it is. All right, fantastic. So there's the U.S. Doppler radar. That's the all 50 state view. As precipitation continues to inundate southern Alaska, we'll be focusing on the lower 48 for the remainder of the video. And let's pause for station identification. This is the Smash News Network least busted name in news. So here's your U.S. Doppler radar map. Here's your shortwave radiation showing clouds and fog. And there is your water vapor map. Looks like clear skies over West Texas, as there is a high pressure zone there, ushering that moisture to the east. So right here's your high pressure. This is your relative low pressure. Also lots of moisture over Idaho here at the moment. And let's do a recap. U.S. Doppler radar. Vertical motion of water droplets in the air column. Shortwave radiation showing clouds and fog. It's 3.9 nanometer infrared radiation map. And there is the water vapor map. Hopefully that clears things up if your Doppler is looking unclear. Try the water vapor. And try pressing like, subscribe, share, etc. if you're new to the channel. Congratulations on realizing that it exists. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, and may that solar wind be at your back. Opinions expressed in this video may not be the opinions of Smash News Network, least busted name in news.